Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another Final Fantasy job tier list, and today we're talking about the ranged characters, and that's many. We got your hunters and your archers, we got your machinists and your gunners and your pew-pews, and we have the cards, and then we have miscellaneous ranged characters. We're gonna get to that. There's a couple very unique characters in this list, so let's get started. Now in FF1, a 0. There is no ranged characters. Other than like ninja, I guess they can throw stuff, but I don't think that counts. So it jumps us to FF2. Now we have a archer by looks alone, because she can technically be your mage, she can be your warrior, she can be a monk, she can be whatever you want her to be. It's Maria. Not very a notable character. I don't think, yeah, she's important in the story, but I don't think she's really an archer. What do you, if you play Final Fantasy 2, what do you make your Maria? I usually do give her a bow because I like to do canon characters. She's usually bow and magic for me. I'm curious to see how you build her though, so let me know. In Final Fantasy 2, you got your archers. I think they're archers. Are they hunters? Regardless, they're pretty average. Or are they bard? Let's have a look. You built her as a healer. Hi, Sammy. I think these are bards. Yeah, it's bard. Yeah, so FF3 bards, they're okay. They're okay. So you build your Maria as a healer. I think I always give her a bow. And then I run her as my main caster. She was an archer for you. That's the beauty of FF2, but at the same time, there's no token classes. So it makes it a little bit hard to class. To no surprise whatsoever, in Final Fantasy IV, we have a white mage archer, Rosa, who I strongly dislike for multiple reasons I'm not going to get into because this tier list is going to take too long. She's a D tier. Go watch my white mage tier list if you have any sorts of curiosity as to why I'm not a fan of Rosa. I don't want to go into this rant again. She's just D tier. She'd be worse tier if I wanted to, but just not a fan. Final Fantasy 5 bars are actually so freaking strong. They're A tier, okay? They have heals, they have AoE heals, they have Requiem something for undead that kills the dragons. They're so strong. And the fact that you unlock their skills and their powers through playing piano is just such a novelty thing. In Final Fantasy V, to me, bards are absolutely OP. You could get away with not rolling a healer and just doing their healing one. I just really like them. I've run them in almost all of my runs. I really like them. I really like them. In Final Fantasy VI, we have two different range characters. Your healer was blue. Blue mage is really good. White wind is incredibly strong. So that's fair. You didn't run any like single healer, Burger? Like it was your blue mage? It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. We put Edgar into range because of his machinist. Again, we've included machinists and gunners in this list. Edgar's a strong character. His versatility of weapon is really good. We all like the flamethrower. I think Edgar is like a mid-tier character for me in Final Fantasy VI, but I think he is A tier based on utility. Auto crossbow is hard carry early, 100%. He's got so much diversity that you can slot him in almost any situation and it just fits. So I would recommend to play with Edgar. I had a lot of fun playing him. Next up we have Satser, which is he's in Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why they put Satser in Kingdom Hearts. I actually really like Satser as a character. I believe he was the first character to be introduced with a card weapon, which was kind of new. And of course you had your roulette, you have your RNG with Setzer, but I think he's just a great character. He's very important for the story. He's got his own airship, and he's just, I don't know, something about Setzer I find not charming in a sense, but I think he's a great character. Edgar has a tool for almost situation, literally. Now, We just finished our ninja and thief tier list, but surprise, she's still a ranged character. Actually, we're gonna just put her right here. Yuffie's a fantastic character. Thrown shurikens are really, really fun. Really fun. FF7 Barret, I would also put an A tier. When I first played Final Fantasy VII, I wasn't the biggest fan of Barret, but as I've... That's French Barret for you, everybody. As I've aged and become an adult, I can relate more and more to Barret's cause. And in Final Fantasy VII Remake, holy crap, they've done so good to him. His character model is great, his voice acting is great, his writing is great, and you actually just care about Barret a lot in the game. I think they did a fantastic job. And we all know, because we've played Final Fantasy VII Remake on stream in our channel, but we played it in French as well, and French Barret, and French Marlene, but French Barret is so good. We can never forget it. Final Fantasy VII Vincent, people might be mad at me for this one. He's B tier. I like Vincent as a character. I think he's cool. I like his story. I like his personality. I like that he's possibly voiced by Matt Mercer, and then hopefully. What I don't like about Vincent, is his limit break. When I do have him in my party, I don't use his limit break because I don't like the mechanic of how all of that works. I really hope they make it a little bit better when the rebirth, well, I guess he's probably not going to be playable in rebirth, but I hope they do a better system for his limit break because it was really bad. And because of that, he's B tier, top of B tier. I really like his character, but like his limit break makes him, you should not be using him, and it's really unfortunate. So I think he'll be in the red 13 slots for rebirth. He'll be alongside you, but not playable yet. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. FF7, I will always say Cat She, but it's Kate Sith officially. Now hear me out. When I think of Kate Sith, I think of Reeve. And I find that Reeve is a very, very good character. And I went kind of like in a little bit of a tangent on Discord a couple days ago. I think it was a week ago. Where I'm very excited to see more of the Kate Sith storyline with Reeve. Because you know that Reeve works for Shinra. He's going through a very, very tough time. He just failed at protecting so many people. And you know that he's having a hard time, but then he shows up and manipulates this puppet, and the puppet is a fortune teller, but the puppet is also there to make people smile. And I find the duality of somebody that's having an extremely hard time trying to make other people smile very interesting to me. And so I'm very excited to see what they do in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, what they do with the character, because it's the puppet that you know, but it's still Reeve controlling. And there is a possibility of them expanding this so much that I think is just absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited. Traitor spied turned traitor. Oh, 100%. But the thing is, like, the sacrifices that Kate Sith makes, like, he just says, you know, yes, I'm replaceable. Yes, I'm a puppet. No worries. I will stay inside the temple. But at the same time, you're like, but I was the first one, you know, like there's some sense of, I don't know, there's attachment to it. I'm really curious, again, what they're going to see with Kate Sith every time. What they do with that character is going to be very interesting. I like the storyline, even though it's a very minor storyline, but I really like that storyline. And there's a lot of potential that they can do with it. And the fact that Reeve has a change of heart and realizes that, yes, my employer is the bad guy. And I just like Reeve as a character. I have played Dirge of Cerberus. I like Reeve as a character. I like Kate Sith as a character. I think it's going to be really good. Hopefully. There's potential. Next up we have Final Fantasy VIII with Arvine. Another character I have mixed feelings in. I don't know why they push him to be a womanizer. They could have done a little bit better with the character, I think. I think he's gonna be like probably above Vincent. I liked him a lot growing up. I thought he was a cool character. He always ends up in my party because his limit break, or limit, I guess is just what it's called, is very strong if you grind the ammo properly. That's all I got. Like, he's there. He's there. Least favorite playable character. My least favorite playable character, and I'm gonna get in shit for this, is Zell, but we'll talk about it when we get to the monks. Selphie was an interesting one. We did not know where to place her. She's kind of a mage. She's kind of the red mage of FF8 because she's got the 4 limited spells. But she's also got nunchucks, and we're like, what the fuck do we do with this? Is she a ninja? Not really. So we put her in range because we didn't know. She's there. Personally, I don't really use Selphie. I don't like cheesing with the end. I don't like the full cure. I don't really use Quake. Like, I don't... Or Rapture. Like, I don't really use her limit break. She's an interesting character, sure, but she's just pretty blah for me. Laguna? Laguna is the Friends of the Moombas, and I don't know, I think he's hilarious. He's got one of the best music theme in all of the Final Fantasies. Man with Machine Gun is a strong theme. Realizes very early what's going on, plans for the future, goes to space to stop the lunar tier, like, becomes mayor. Mayor? No, he's not the mayor. He's just very important. And I think Laguna deserved a little bit more story. They just really need to do a remake of all Final Fantasies, like all the old ones, so we can get more. But just the fact that Moombas love him, perfect. So in FF9, we don't actually really have many ranged characters that weren't already in a different list. So FF10 time, and we have Wakka. Now, he's hard to place, okay? Wakka has one of the best overdrive in the whole game in attack reels. Very strong, very good. He's actually part of my penance killing party. He's my, end game Aeon or Dark Aeon killing party. He's so strong. But his personality is just... He's racist. He's... all sorts of religion restrictions. He does have character growth, so he does have some redeeming factor. And in 10-2, all of those bad negative things, they just disappeared, which is really weird. It's like they forgot to give Wakka personality in 10-2. I would put him in D tier if he wasn't that strong. And actually, I think it was Red that actually convinced me to use Wakka in the harder fights when I started streaming, like 8 years ago almost, when I was doing my very first Final Fantasy X plat. Red is the one that convinced me to give him a shot. See what I did there? Because he is just so strong, but even with a character growth, that still does not redeem the fact that he's kind of an asshole. And for that reason, C tier. Final Fantasy X-2 Gunner. I like that Wakka grows by the end. He does have growth. But he's still so very judgy that, I don't know, there's something about his character that will just never hit right with me. But he did absolutely, and you're right, that he's much, much better near the end than at the beginning. But then in 10-2, it's like it never happened. So... tell him to be racist. Well, I mean, sure, Hestia, and I can agree with that. However, maybe he's just that weak-minded where he was not able to form his own opinion. I was raised by my super religious grandma. That does not make me... Like, I have my own opinions, right? And to be fair, small town by the beach doesn't really know better than play sports. Yeah, it's sports, right? And maybe he just was never really exposed to everybody else. And there's just so many other things. But I'm like, doesn't mean you have to spread the hate. And I understand, you know, his brother dies because of the machines. Like, I understand. I understand where he comes from. I just don't think it's a justification for being that much of an asshole to people. It just doesn't do it for me. But they're good points. I do fully believe that Waka grows, just maybe not enough. And then in 10-2, it's like it never happened. Who knows? Anyways, Final Fantasy X-2 Gunner is actually pretty strong in game, in early game. End game, okay, well, it depends. If you take Final Fantasy X-2 PS2 and you equip a catnip, then your gunner is your strongest class in the game. If you take the X-2 remaster, you can't really use that catnip trip anymore. Very good early game. Not that good end game. Trigger Happy is still very fun to use. You can dish out some damage, and with Trigger Happy you also kind of stun lock the enemies, which is very, very useful in some situation. Trigger Happy, like I mentioned in other videos, is one of the best way to get that 99 chains if you're not doing it with thieves, so that's good. And they just don't really have the power. Like the power will scale with your level, but if you're not a little bit higher level than enemies, then you're just not doing the damage, and that's a downfall of gunners. They do have really, really good skills in last mission where they can do a lot of damage to flying enemies and stuff, which we utilized. It was very good, but I don't know, they're just, it's not what I usually run in 10-2. I'll run Alchemist over and Dark Knight over Gunner anytime. Everyone you knew for 20 plus years was that level. And that's true. That's what I'm saying, Hestia. Like that small town mindset. And maybe, you know, that's just, it's unfortunate that Waka couldn't escape that mindset. But it's so tough, right? In 10-2, we also have another range skill. This one's more like a mage range. And they're also kind of the blue mage in the gun mage. And gun mage is so good. You can learn so many cool skills with gun mage, and you can also learn to exploit every single enemies in the game if utilized right. Gun mage is annoying to unlock. If Alchemist is through Classco, gun mage is through the Ronzos? I don't remember. I think it is Ronzo because Kamari. So yeah, so you do actually not, you can miss blue mage if you don't do all the stories in chapter 1, 2, and 3. It is missable, but it is incredibly, really, really, really useful if you take time to level up that class. And in 10-2, our last ranged class, I'll take a sip of water, is Lady Luck, and that one's interesting. I enjoy Lady Luck for grinding purposes. That's really good. However, you can also game over. So it's your like Setzer. It's your Joker Doom, basically. You can kill the whole party. And it's definitely happened to me. More than once. I like the idea of throwing the cards. I like the dice damage. That's usually what I do with the gamblers or Lady Luck, is I just do the dice damage. I think it's pretty cool. RNG classes never really turned out good for me. But Lady Luck is good. Even for just the outfit. We all know everybody plays the Lady Luck for the outfit. I think it would put I'll put the Lady Lucks above Maria, I think. Maybe above Selfie. There is usefulness to it. It is situational. I don't really like using the RNG classes, so I don't know. The Vanille Deathspan grind in 13, ugh. It's so useful though, that's the thing. So in Final Fantasy 11, we didn't include any because Bullburger don't really know Final Fantasy 11. So that puts us to FF12, which is Balthier. S tier right here. If you know me just a tiny bit, you know I have a soft spot for Balthier. He's just good. Now, yes, he can wield sword. He can wield anything else. That's why we also put Fran in here. It's just based on character here. Balthier's S rank. Love the character, love the voice, love the story. And then knowing the backstory of he used to be a judge. He quit because of his father. His father, big part of the story as well. Like, Balthier is a solid character. I wish we had more. I wish they gave us more story. We know so very little. But I love him anyway, so it's fine. Fran is an A tier. Probably here. Fran is your silent character. Your character that just never really speak. Instead, like, in case, you know, somebody else has something to say, but also, like, only really ever speaks if they have something to add. Incredibly useful with the whole aether smelling. Is it aether? It's ether. I don't know, the Vieira's, the OG Vieira, I think is good. I think she's a good character. She's a good member. She's good at everything. That's the thing with FF12 is everybody can be everything. She's one of the 3 characters that has cure no matter what. You don't need to learn it. Really like the way she holds weapons as well. Like, I think she's a great character. I wish there was more in the story. FF12 suffers from that a lot, but she's really good. Now into the Final Fantasy 13 Sazh. Love Sazh. I think after Fang, he's my second favorite Final Fantasy 13 character. I think not only does he understand what he's done and how wrong he's been, you know, like, oh, he's a father, and people are like, oh, maybe he's a bad dad, but he's not, because he does realize what he's done and how he failed to protect Daj, and there's just so much character growth in Sazh. And I don't know, like, he's good in 13 too. He's a little bit depressed for good reasons I'm not gonna spoil, but like, he's still very good. He's your pilot of your ship in the base game. It's just such a good character. The whole part in I forget, the gold saucer of FF13, that whole part was just so heart-wrenching, you know, like, it just broke my heart. But at the same time, it's such a relatable, normal breakdown to have. It was so well done. Voice actor did a fantastic job. Sazh is a top tier character. In 13 too, well, she married Snow, so I can't trust her judgment. I really enjoyed 13 too. It's my favorite out of the 3 13s. I have issues with Sarah as a character. She's portrayed as this cute, nice girl that yells at her students. Like, she looks like she's a terrible teacher because she's a teacher. She looks like she does a terrible job. Once again, she married the worst character in the FF13 universe, so I can't trust her judgment. I like that she keeps going with her mission, even though she knows the outcome of it. And she knows what chasing Caius will do. She still does it, so I do respect that. So she's already better than Waka. And she does try to resolve everything, like all the conflict. She tries to resolve it before fighting, which I can respect. So I guess that brings her in B tier, probably above Maria, probably above Selphie. Like, she's not a bad character, but I can't put her higher than this. Because there is some flaws to the character that just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, the fuck is this? Like the whole yelling at the kids and stuff. I just couldn't get into that. So I don't hate Sarah. I just don't really like her either. I play Final Fantasy 13 too, mainly for Noel and and Yule and the whole storyline, and Caius. Actually, I play Final Fantasy 13 too for Caius, because he's got the best voice. Next up, we have Final Fantasy 15 in Prompto, and I don't know, he's B tier. He's a cool character. Robbie Damon, I think is his name. He does a fantastic job at voicing him. Prompto's really cute, very important to the story. His DLC episode was fantastic, but he's not like an A tier memorable character, you know? Like he's there. He's important. That's true. He's good at shooting pictures. So it's technically 2 ranged weapons. He does capture some really cool moments in fight, which I thought was a cool mechanic of the game. But I can't say that he's an A tier character, you know? Like he's there. I do believe that Noctis will be worse off without him. But yeah, he's just also not that memorable. Like he's cute. He's the happy-go-lucky, cheerful side of the party, which is always needed. Yeah, that's all I got for Prompto. So then let's talk about Type 0. In combat, he's usually dead. That's true. Prompto's always the first one to die. Imperials above us! At least he warns us from time to time, you know? It's all good. So we have Ace, which is a card user. Ace is interesting. He's got a cool, like, gambler mechanic with the colors. I find him easy to use because the cards auto-aim. But not that interesting as far as character-wise, other than being, like, the main character. He's alright. Trey and Cater are the 2 other Type 0 characters that I've used. So it was 7, always 7 with Trey and Cater because ranged. So if 7 ever died, then I had at least 2 ranged characters to shoot. Trey was Matt Mercer, that's right. I think Trey's a cool character. He's the only real archer. The other ones are gunners. He is the mature voice of the game. Like, if you really pay attention to the cutscene, which you really don't have to, but if you pay attention to the cutscene in Type 0, Trey is your voice of reason. And one of the 2 only mature character with Queen. And because of that, I'm gonna put him bottom of A. Cater will be bottom of A as well. Cater is also another very clever character. There's not that many smart characters in Type 0, unfortunately. Like King, ugh. Very useful with the dual gunner. King is really good in Opera Omnia as well. I just can't with his personality. And I just really don't like his hair. I just don't like looking at it. It's weird, but I just don't care for it. Type 0 was an interesting game altogether. He's as dumb as Sync. I mean, he's not better. He's definitely not better. So that's it for the mainline Final Fantasies. Now we go into the Final Fantasy Tactics events, and there are many. So, Final Fantasy Tactics, Base Tactics, Archers. The problem I have with Archers is like charge plus 20 is never gonna hit unless you stop the enemies. Like, you don't stay an Archer to be an Archer. You go into Archer to get Thief, to get Ninja. They're okay. They're strong early game. If you have height advantage, sure. They can have crossbows, which is useful, but like not really. The charge abilities I never really use. I don't know. They're there. I'm not that interested in Archers. I don't really ever utilize them. As soon as I unlock Thief, I go into Thief immediately. Mustadio. Aw, Hestia, what's wrong? You like Archers and Tactics? Okay, Mustadio is an interesting thing. He's important in the story enough. You cannot do the side quest without him, so I guess that's B tier automatic. His rescue mission is... It's annoying, and in randomizers, I've lost some of his rescue mission because he would just go in and die, which is annoying. He's not bad. He's important to the story. Like, he's one of the few main characters. I think I have to put him like low B tier because I really don't know where else to put him. Like, he's not C because he can be really good. Like, leg shot is really good, arm shot is really good, and unless you're playing the War of the Lions version, he's the only one that has access to those skills. So by itself is useful, but like at that point in the game, you probably already have generic characters that are just gonna be stronger than Mustadio is when he joins. So it's really like, you can invest in him, but I don't strongly recommend it, if that makes sense. I think B tier is where he belongs. If it wasn't for the fact that he unlocked all the other side characters for you, I think I'd drop him to C. But he's important, so I guess we'll have to put him in B. Okay, it's confirmed. Is it Matt Mercer as Vincent? Because we all knew it. We all knew it. We're like, that sounds like him. We recognize his godly voice. All right, so let's power through all of the Final Fantasy Tactics event classes. In Archers, they're okay. Oh, wow, 2 lines in B tiers. I'm gonna do this real quick. All right, so they're okay, but the Hunters are a lot better. I would actually put the Hunters probably above Mustadio. Very useful, higher damage, definitely higher damage. And I believe they have access to higher tier bows, I believe. And then you have Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 with the specific race. I believe they're still Hunter. They're about of the same power. For the Moogle classes, I guess we could do it by classes. The Juggler. The Jugglers are pretty fun. There's a lot that they can do. I don't think they're that strong, though. I think I'd put the Jugglers... Oh, it's hard to tell. I've used them. I think I'd put them above Archers. I think that's a C tier, because if you want a ranged class for your Moogles, I think Fusilier is actually quite strong. Probably right here. I have used the Fusilier. The range is just really, really good. And I believe you can have the different elements on it. So I think that's where I would put the Fusilier. Then we have the Flintlock, which I have never used. So I'm going to put bottom of B tier because I do not have an opinion. Mainly in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Advance 2, my Moogles are mages. Especially the Bard one is adorable. So I think bottom of B tier because I do not know much about the Flintlock. If you have experience with Flintlock in Tactics Advance 2, tell me about it. Tell me why they're good. Tell me why they're bad. And maybe I'll change my my opinion on them. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, that's what all they are. We have snipers. Now, the snipers are actually quite strong, and I'm trying to see. I think they would be above the hunter. Because snipers are... Is it snipers or assassin that have double shot? I don't remember, but I remember utilizing them a lot, and I used assassin, speaking of. Assassins can have the ninja swords, but they can also have the bows, and they're solid. Let's do it like this. If you ever play Tactics Advance or in Tactics Advance 2, make sure to develop 1 to 2 Vieras because they are so freaking strong. So good. I highly recommend it. I usually run a Viera that's more mage, like Fencer and Elementalist, and one that's pure damage, like she'll go Sniper, then Assassin, and it's never failed me. Ever. Okay, then we have the Banga jobs, which is Cannoneer, I believe. Cannoneer? Cannoneer. Never really used it, so I'm gonna have to put that bottom of B tier. It's not good, it's not bad, I just don't have an opinion. I've never used it. And the same thing with, what did we say? This is a Trickster class? I don't know. I don't remember. I think I've went into a Trickster. I fought some Tricksters for sure, but do I remember what they are? No. And the last but not least, the Seek is the Ranger, which I don't think I've ever ran a Seek, so unfortunately, like, this part of the tier list is the I don't know part because I don't really ever use those classes. So I don't have any opinion about these 4 classes. If you do, and if you think that Cannoneer is like A tier for some reason, let me know in the comments below or in chat right now. Be like, Andy, what the fuck? Go play the game because you don't know anything. Feel free. Alright, so if we review this real quick, there's a lot of ranged characters. And like I said, ranged characters include your machinists, your pew-pews, your archers, your hunters, your card throwing classes. I guess that's your gamblers. I think that's pretty complete. I think I'd put Vincent above Irvine. And I would probably put Gunner close to here, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. We only have one D tier, and that's because I'm just not a fan of Rosa. But I believe that is it for our range characters tier list updated with Final Fantasy 16. Was there any Final Fantasy 16 characters here? No. So thank you everybody for watching. If you're with us with Twitch right now, the next one will be Monks. If you're YouTube, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.